What's up guys, Blade Master here. You're watching the Wolf of Remus Total War channel, and this is yet another Total War Rome 2 online battle replay. This is going to be the second one that I fought against Philopator, and in this one I've taken Carthage and he's taken Getae as a counterpick, and I've gone with a very competent Carthage build. I'm not really sure if you can use this in tournaments because, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, you can use this in tournaments. So this is basically most legal for most tournaments. I've brought 3 mercenary Balearic slingers up top, 3 mercenary Italian swordsmen behind them, and a couple of Libyan infantry. And then for my cav, I've brought 1 Carthaginian and 1 mercenary Scutari on either flank, and a couple of mercenary companion whom I'm keeping closer to my infantry corps, 1 African war elephant general, and a couple of late Libyan hoplites to support my cav flanks. Now, Philopator has brought a pretty competent Getae build himself. He's brought a total of 6 spear horsemen and a couple of mercenary Thracian cavalry, which is a kind of an interesting move on his part. He's also brought a couple of Falksmen whom he's going to keep on the cav flanks right from the start. 4 Dacian heavy bowmen. So these are units which I don't really know why they're called heavy bowmen, because they have poor health and they have poor armor as well. So I'm not really sure why why they're heavy, and they're not even heavy in mass. So I don't get it. Anyways, besides them, he's brought a total of 3 mercenary axe warriors and a total of 3 noble swords. So very competent build from Philopator as well. I was wondering a bit on why he brought mercenary Thracian cavalry. But one thing you got to know with these guys is, if they get into contact with elephant units, they're incredibly deadly. Just a couple of volleys from their regular shot and elephants will start dying. 1 or 2 volleys max from flaming shot and elephants will run amok. They set elephants amok much quicker than foot archers or bow horsemen. So in that sense, I think they can be put to very good use. Now, immediately I was starting to take some shots on his spear horseman, and now he's moving up with his Dacian heavy bowman pretty quickly. So I'm moving up with my mercenary Italian swordsmen, whom we all know have pretty good armor. So I'm putting them as arrow bait, and meanwhile my Balearic slingers, whom I've put on quick reload, should be able to finish off his Dacian heavy bowman pretty quickly. It's a very important tactic to kill off enemy skirmishers as fast as possible. And now moving my mercenary companion cav into a straight front charge. It looked like I was about to do that. It wouldn't have been a bad idea, but instead I'm going to move them through the flanks and then attack these Falksmen who would destroy my late Libyan hoplites. Meanwhile, I'm catching some of his extra spear horsemen with my cav, and he saw a pretty good potential to attack my Balearic slingers and rear charge them with some of his mercenary Thracian cavalry. Let's put this on slow motion because there's a lot of stuff going on. I've also rear charged his other Falksmen with my companion cav, and they're just racking up the kills. Meanwhile, my cav should be more than enough to handle his spear horsemen. My mercenary Italian swordsmen, though, I don't know how well they do against his. His noble swords haven't started attacking, but one thing about Italian swords is that they will last a while. And now I'm engaging his other noble sword general just with my companion to hold them out and let my late Libyan hoplites kill off his spear horsemen as quickly as possible. His mercenary Thracian cavalry, you have to remember that mercenary Thracian cavalry aren't as strong as the regular Thracian cavalry for Idrisian Kingdom, so they don't have great melee attack. But it's provided enough time for his archers to get some great shots onto my Balearic slingers. He's also setting his units on flaming shot, but luckily my African elephants haven't run amok. If they did, this would have been pretty bad for me because they would have just stomped through my Balearic slingers. But good news for me is I've killed off this cav flank basically. His 2 spear horsemen are going to be engaged with my late Libyan hoplites, and I've got 1 free, basically full strength companion cav who's going to be able to rear charge this noble sword unit, whom I've held up with one of my Libyan infantry. Now, I was pretty concerned on what to do with my African war elephants, because he's got archers on this side and javelins on the other side, and now it looks like this should be more than enough to get these guys amok. Yep, there they go, they're running amok, but that's alright, because I'm just about ready to engage his archers with from the front and from the sides with my mercenary companion cav. And anyway, I was going to lose the infantry battle. I was counting on my elephants to kill off his infantry, and while they're running amok, all they're going to do is run into most of his units. They are going to run into some of my mercenary Scutari, but that's just some friendly fire that I'm going to have to accept. I've killed off his cav flanks basically. His Falksmen should be destroying my late Libyan hoplites, although they're lasting for quite a while. He rear charged one of my mercenary Italian swordsmen, but I'm going to counter charge them with one of my Libyan infantry. And he's again pulled off with his Thracian cavalry and attacked my Balearic slingers on the rear again. Now he's got a couple of spear horsemen who are pretty free. But what's going to be good for me is that my African elephants are getting into the rear of his troops, and that's going to spell doom for especially his axe warriors. So these guys are running amok, and they will destroy some of my mercenary Italian swordsmen, but that's alright as long as I can kill off some of his noble swords. My companion cav have done really well, 134 kills already, because they destroyed his archer line, and his remaining noble swords unit is going to attack my Libyan infantry, whom I've braced pretty effectively. I'm going to charge them at the last second, and now this is going to be a perfect opportunity for me to use my extra remaining cav to attack his noble swords on the rear. They're very high value units, and if you can get some rear charges onto them, it will be great. More and more of my Italian swordsmen are starting to rout, but now one good thing about this engagement is that my African Royal Elephants have stopped running amok, which is good because they're in a perfect position now. They can attack all these types of units. His Thracian cavalry are getting some great javelin shots onto my African Royal Elephants, and that's not going to be very good for me, so I'm going to just set them on an attack order to them. Again, they've started to run amok. I think they haven't lost any units though, and while they're going to plow through my mercenary Italian swordsmen, they are going to plow through his noble swords in that process as well. I've charged one of his noble swords with one of my companion cav. The other one has got only 7 units and has only racked up 60 kills, which isn't great, but that's alright because I was able to hold out his unit for a long time. 170 kills with a single experience chevron on one of my African Royal Elephants, gen. Great. They've done pretty well so far. I was honestly expecting them to die much quicker, and it's a useful surprise that they haven't died so soon. But my extra Scutari cav is just destroying his archer line. I honestly thought that they routed earlier than this, but it's fine. What's more useful for me is that all of his units are very close to my elephants, and there we go. They started to get destroyed, and I've also popped Warcry on his mercenary axe warriors because I'm right at the rear of them, and once I get a rear charge with my elephants, these guys are basically done. Libyan infantry have done pretty well, but of course they only were being attacked by mercenary axe warriors, and here my companion cav got an amazing charge onto the flanks of his noble swords, and I'm going to rear charge it with my Libyan infantry as well. I'm going to pull off with my companion cav because there are other engagements that they'd be much better suited to, just like this noble swords, just killing off because these guys only have like 20 units left, and that's perfect for my companions to destroy. 206 kills on them, 273 kills on my African Royal Elephants. He's done a great job at running them amok, but they've only been running amok onto his own units, so maybe he would have been better suited off at just using regular shot to destroy my gen. I'm getting another rear charge off onto the rears of his noble sword gen. My African Royal Elephants gen has stopped running amok as well, which is great. 326 kills on them. Finally, I've been able to put my elephants to good use. Triple chevron, really well done. And I think this game is kind of it's very close again, but I'm getting some great charges off onto the rears of his men, which should be able to win me this battle. I've also got one basically full strength companion cav, 241 kills. Holy shit. And 344 kills on my African elephants, and I think that's going to be it for this match. I think I won it. He did have one extra spear horseman unit which he didn't use, a bit of miss micro over there, but all's well that ends well, I guess. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of this battle. Costly victory, but and I wouldn't have won this if it weren't for my African elephants gen, who they didn't even lose one single unit. Wow, and got 370 kills. Crazy. And another one of my companions who did amazing, 242 kills on them. They hardly lost any units. And one of my Scutari did really well, 253. The other one did okay, 89 kills with them. All in all, my cav did quite well. My Balearic Slingers could have done a much better job, but credit to him using his Thracian cavalry to kill them off. But one thing he should have done was not use as much flaming shots as he did. He should have used regular shot and killed off some of my units before setting them amok. Actually, if you kill off a lot of units in an elephant unit, they will start running amok whether you use flaming shot or not. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this battle. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more. Peace.